in high definition, where news comes first. This is WECT's Carolina in the Morning.
And Hurricane Isaac hits. The storm makes landfall as a Category 1 hurricane about 75 miles south of New Orleans, Louisiana, hours before the 7th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. This morning, more than 300,000 people are without power, and conditions are getting worse. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Ratcliffe.
And I'm Bob Townsend. For more on Isaac, let's head over now to First Alert meteorologist Colin Hackman. Colin?
The storm continues to move very slowly, Bob, at this hour. It has decreased forward speed just as it has started to make landfall. It has also increased in intensity in the last 6 hours. Still a Category 1 storm moving over the land there in southwestern or southeastern Louisiana. Just to the south of New Orleans, we have been watching the worst conditions there start to pump into the Crescent City. Notice all of those showers and thunderstorms backed off toward the east and toward the south. We're seeing rain bands work their way back into interior portions of Louisiana, and the forward motion of this storm is going to be the calling card of what we remember, I believe, with Hurricane Isaac. Of course, there is a long time to go still. Notice hour-by-hour forecast model here trending through the next 12 hours. The storm's only going to move into central Louisiana. In fact, through the next 24 hours, it's still going to be there in the southern part of the Mississippi River Valley. Not until late Thursday, early Friday will we see this storm kicked out into Arkansas and into the Mississippi River Valley. So it's going to be a long time of steady rains, torrential downpours there, anywhere in the neighborhood between 6, 7, 8, 10 to maybe even 20 inches of precipitation in some of those southern Mississippi and Louisiana locations. Going to be a very wet day and a half there for folks along the Gulf Coast. New video this morning as the storm moves through the Gulf Coast. You're looking at New Orleans right now, where thousands, in fact, at last count, 300,000 people without power. Isaac is less powerful than Katrina, but still packing a very mean punch. One of the folks who are in the area this morning, Doug Erickson, he works with the Cape Fear chapter of the American Red Cross. He was in Louisiana as Hurricane Katrina hit, and he's back there again this morning. He joins us now on the phone from Port Allen, Louisiana. Doug, can you hear me this morning? How are emergency relief efforts going there today?
Good morning, Colin. How are you today?
Thank you. I know that you've experienced a lot of tropical systems. Tell me, first of all, how has the response been so far for folks in Port Allen there near Baton Rouge?
I tell you, we've set up our disaster relief headquarters here in Port Allen, well inland and on high ground, if you can have high ground here. I can tell you that there's about 2,700 Red Cross workers assigned between Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. So the systems have been in place. We took a forward lean and got assets in place, and right now I think as of midnight there was about 2,400 people in shelters in Louisiana alone. A lot of people did evacuate earlier, so that's why we don't see the huge numbers of folks in shelters that we saw during Katrina.
Now, as you look at what's happening in New Orleans there, of course, through television and some of the other feeds, does that bother you at all? Are you in a safe location, and what are you expecting there in Baton Rouge in the coming hours?
Well, we are in a safe location. We have a headquarters set up in an old Walmart building, and there's no power outages around here that I can see. The wind's steady overnight, been 30, 40 miles an hour. There was a little bit of rain yesterday, and just early this morning, maybe an hour ago, there was a very small band of rain that came through. But right now, it's just a steady wind, no rain. So we're hoping for the best, and yeah, we're watching TV like everybody else and seeing what's going on in the coast. And I'm hoping that this thing does move here as quickly as it can. I know it is moving slow, but I think we got all our folks in place that we need for now, and there's people moving from the other states like Florida and Alabama that might not have been hit as hard. And as soon as it's safe to travel, they'll be coming to aid those folks in Louisiana again.
All right, Doug, thanks very much. This is Bob, and we stay safe down there, and we'll see you when you get back up here. We're continuing our coverage right now of Hurricane Isaac. Today, Raycom reporter Greg Merriweather is in Reserve, Louisiana, just outside of Baton Rouge, waiting for the worst of the storm. Greg, good morning.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome here to Reserve, Louisiana, my supermarket. You saw that Greg's spelled just a little bit differently. A lot of folks out here boarded up, waiting on Isaac to kind of get here as we start to see the first part of the storm make its way here to Reserve, Louisiana. This is a food market out here just off of Central Avenue, just down from the fire station. Take a look at what they decided to do to board it up. Pretty creative, if I might say so myself. These are the old cardboard boxes and stuff that they bale and I guess either recycle them or get them back to somebody else. Well, they decided to put them in front of the store to protect those precious windows and the precious doors, which cost a lot of money, and of course the precious cargo inside, which will be very important to the folks here as they emerge coming up in just a few hours when everybody gets out and tries to check the damage and see exactly what happened. As I said, just starting to get just a few little pieces of the rain and wind coming through here. A lot of breaks in this. It's not a constant thing, so that's the way it looks here in Reserve, Louisiana at the Greg's Neighborhood Market. Back to you guys in Baton Rouge.
All right, a developing story this morning. We're waiting for an autopsy report involving a paramedic's death in Brunswick County. Emergency officials say Jack Snoddy died in his home. Snoddy was a medic and rotated shifts throughout Brunswick County. The coroner says autopsy results should be released later this afternoon. Stay with WECT for more details.
Dredging on the south side of Topsail Beach will have to wait a while. Town leaders are holding off until the spring of 2014. They were originally going to try to dredge in the area this coming spring, but they say the permits will not be in place in time. They're also hoping to expand the project to put even more sand on the beach. And new this morning, this story, as the storm slams down into the Gulf Coast, North Carolina working to protect our beaches. The Coastal Resources Commission meeting in Sunset Beach today. Some talking points: how to deal with a rising sea level and how to stop erosion. The meeting is open to the public, starts at 8:30 this morning at the Sea Trail Golf Resort. Also new this morning, we're continuing to track Hurricane Isaac.
Meteorologist Colin Hackman in the newsroom right now with more details on its path. Colin.
It's been a very active morning across the northern Gulf Coast there in the southern Gulf Coast states. We continue to monitor the situation there right now. If we can, and I know this is kind of a breaking news environment, if we can, I'd like to show Jim Cantori again live with our news partners at NBC and the Weather Channel if we have that available.
That into your ear real quick. They just said it just came out, so you are under one, so watch out.
Okay, yeah, as far as waterspouts go, we're not going to be able to see anything at this point. It's still pitch black out here. We're not even at twilight, so if there's something coming our way, we're not going to see it. But we still are getting those sustained winds upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour, Stephanie. Gust in the mid to upper 40s. The big thing that has changed since the middle of the night is the fact that the rain has backed off. We're just getting a little light shower right now. The heavier rain kicking in that flash flooding is now shifted into Mississippi, and certainly we know what's going on in Louisiana, as you've seen the shots all morning from Stephanie, Al, and Jim. That doesn't mean we're out of the woods as far as flash flooding goes. We've got the flash flood warnings again, Jackson County till 7:35. That includes the Moss Point, Pascagoula area. That's in the extreme southeast corner of Mississippi. Back here in Mobile County and Baldwin County, where I am, we still have the flash flood watch going until at least late tonight. More rain could rotate in, but again, in the short term, we're looking much, much better. That's going to give the fresh water a chance to recede in areas where we don't have the surge, because we still have this onshore flow, and that's piling up the water. Hard to see the surf, but I did walk out there earlier, and I can tell that we're in pretty good shape right now. Again, we've got a long beach here, nice replenishment, big dunes out here, and then you've got the property setting back on stilts. So there's absolutely no way there's going to be any water, at least in these properties where I'm standing here on Ocean Beach, and I would assume that's going to be generally the case up and down most of this beach. Again, I'm assuming that. But again, it's the wind and the risk of additional power outages. Already over 1/3 of a million power outages in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. I'm still waiting to find out the latest on that tornado warning. I'm not sure who's weather producing this morning. I'm assuming it's in part of Baldwin County where we are. What is the latest? Can someone feed me some information? I can get it out to the viewer.
What we're listening to right now is Mike Seidel live there in Orange Beach, Alabama, as part of the Weather Channel and NBC News' coverage of the landfall of Hurricane Isaac. We have been watching Jim Cantori as well in downtown New Orleans, Louisiana. Amazing video there, 70-mile-per-hour sustained sustained winds have been reported there, or rather gusts up to 70 miles per hour along the lakefront in New Orleans. Down in the French Quarter, they have been seeing some rugged conditions. And of course, we are tracking this storm because of our hurricane experience here in southeastern North Carolina. We watch with sympathetic eyes here as the rain with this system is just going to go on and on and on. As you've been listening, the eye really hasn't moved much at all, making landfall here across the Mississippi Delta late last night and then slowly grinding its way along the Louisiana coastline. We're talking about a sustained rain event here for the course of the next 12, 24, maybe even 36 hours. Of course, for us, we're also seeing precipitation. Let's get you started for your day. If you're headed out the door for your morning commute this morning, expect to see showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms out there. Most of the heaviest stuff has now pushed over into Onslow County, but we do still have some lingering rain here for eastern portions of New Hanover and eastern Pender County as well. Most of the heavy convection, as I said, has moved offshore, but Highway 17 likely to see some big puddles and ponding. We were under a flood advisory until 6:30 a.m. The Weather Service has discontinued that. That is no longer in effect, but that does still mean that we could see ponding on the roadways and other associated travel issues, as we've seen upwards of 5.5, even close to 6 inches of precipitation in some of these locations, and we're going to see more as the day goes on. How's this affecting your morning commute? Will you get to school on time today? Caroline Waldrop has the latest here in the studio. Good morning, Caroline.